How's it going, folks? How's it going? You already know the waves, and for sure, you already know the vibes. It is Zachariah White, aka King Big Daddy Drip, back at it like it's nothing with this drip and the sauce, cause I am the boss. I am back. We are here. Happy good day to every single one of you ladies and gentlemen out there in the world. Alright, it has definitely been a good Saturday for me. I hope that it's been not even a good Saturday, an excellent Saturday for you. And also, you guys are likely going to be seeing this video come Sunday, so I hope that this Sunday has treated you even better than Saturday and Friday and all the other days that preceded it. But you already know why I'm here. It is another episode of the News of the People. There's always something to report, and there's always something to fill you guys in on. And for this particular occasion, right, I happen to have, I guess this may be a little bit of something different. You know, there's been times where I've done reviews, alright, but for this particular, I guess, video, I'm going to be doing a review on, I'll say, an event, or, yeah, I guess, for lack of a better term, I don't necessarily know what else to call it, an event that actually happened sometime, I want to say, in February, March, you know, a couple months ago, right? So, I think for certain I mentioned in some of my past videos that I ended up getting a job down in Naples, right? Now, this job that I got down in Naples, I was the assistant patron services manager for the Gulfshore Playhouse. Alright, now for those of you guys who don't happen to know what the Gulfshore Playhouse is, especially for my people in the Southwest Florida, it is essentially a theater business. Alright, and I'll say, alright, I guess the reason why there's a couple reasons why I'm making this video, but one is really to let my people in Southwest Florida know that, like, we have Gulfshore Playhouse, and I'll say overall, again, what they provide is, how should I say, concierge level of service, especially pertaining towards theater, right? And I, even more specifically, I wanted to provide you guys with a little bit of information on one of the shows that I was actually fortunate enough to sit through and watch the actors actually come through and really put on an absolute show. Alright, now this particular show that I'm talking about is Camelot. Alright, now, you know, and I'm sure that a lot of y'all may already know Camelot is very, very huge, very, very big in the theater world. Or I forget, not even just theater world, just big in general. Everybody's heard of Camelot at some point. Hell, especially if you've been to college and you've taken a literature class, you most likely read something from Camelot, because everybody loves Camelot. But I was fortunate when I was working down in Naples, working for the Gulfshore Playhouse, and which, by the way, big shout outs to everybody that I was able to meet, and I was able to I learned something from everybody. Let's just say. But big shout outs to them. Again, you know, when I was working there, I was fortunate enough to actually, you know, sit through and really experience it through the eyes of the audience, you know, the performances that these actors put on. And they're this, again, I don't necessarily know how long this video is going to be, but I could go on for, you know, for so long, because it definitely seems like, you know, something that our people just aren't necessarily aware of, especially as I look at the clientele for Gulfshore Playhouse. Again, you know, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it, right? You know, for the most part, I'll say this: it's a lot of people who definitely been around the block, who definitely experienced a lot of things in the world. They I guess they're in the know, and they happen to buy a number of tickets to these shows, and they absolutely enjoy, you know, again, you know, whether it be Camelot, not even just Camelot, but all the different shows that the Gulfshore Playhouse is has been able to put on. But essentially, I wanted to let all of Southwest Florida know that the Gulfshore Playhouse is a thing, because I know that it seems like it's one of those, like, there's a stigma, of course, within Fort Myers. There's a stigma in Southwest Florida where there's absolutely nothing to do, and I honestly, I'm not of that belief. I know that I hate to, it's not strong language, but it's a bold-faced lie. It's a bold-faced lie. It may be unknown all of what's going down, but to say that there's nothing going down in Southwest Florida, that's asinine. That's asinine, right? But I guess I'll actually get into the nitty-gritty, right? Let me get to all of what went down in Camelot, all the finer details, right? I did happen to I met all of the actors who performed in this particular play, in which I'll say, funny enough, it was a relatively young cast. All right, it was a relatively young cast, and I'll say this, I'm not going to act as if I know if that's the norm or if that's not, but it was definitely, like, and this was the first play that I saw, but it just felt refreshing just seeing that. It felt refreshing seeing it, and matter of fact, let me go ahead and give you the starting lineup. Right? So, in the play, there is a King Arthur. He's one of the main characters, right? So the wonderful gentleman who ended up playing King Arthur was Jeffrey Kringer. All right. There was also Queen Guenevere, right? The lovely lady who ended up playing Queen Guenevere was Olivia Hernandez, right? Now, then we have Lancelot. He's also a major character within the story. The person who ended up playing that particular character, his name was Daniel Lopez. By the way, y'all, if y'all don't, I'm going to do my best to also leave their social media down in the description below. I'm going to say this. Every single one of these guys and gals are in excellent shape. All right, let me just say that excellent shape, especially Daniel. This dude is freaking ripped. All right, I'll say this, yo, give him about a couple more years, he's gonna be on the same level as Chris Hemsworth. Listen, I'm telling you guys, y'all gotta go check that man out. But anyway, right? There was also a couple of characters, a couple of revelers, within the play, all right, and the actors who played the revelers were Kevin Martin, Christiana Cole, and also Ty-Gabriel Jones, and also I didn't want to leave out this person as well. There was a gentleman, his name is Griffin Binnicker. Now he also played the Reveler as well. He was an understudy, and actually there's so much stuff that I could tell you guys, because he definitely played a huge role. I guess. My apologies, as I'm starting to recall more details as I'm going through and I'm saying everything. But especially for Camelot was a very popular play, right? Like there were several. I think there's like a couple to several extensions that were made. Like originally, it was set to be from sometime in February all the way to March. And there were some days where there were no plays scheduled, and of course, Gulfshore Playhouse, because of how popular it was, ended up scheduling plays on days that we originally didn't have any showings, just because people loved Camelot so much and really wanted to see it, right? But my fault for also cutting down the volume. But there was a key stretch where one of the actors ended up getting hurt, and Griffin ended up stepping up. And also it definitely major props to Griffin, because I saw the play before the injury ended up occurring, and it was amazing. But also I was listening to all the feedback, from all of the patrons who ended up coming in and seeing the show, after, post injury, with Griffin's performance. And of course, again, still amazing. Like, Griffin did amazing, and overall as a unit, the squad still came through. The squad still held it together, and they put on a show. And not even, I'll just say this, they put on for Gulfshore Playhouse, they put on for the patrons, but more specifically, night in and night out, they put on for Naples and they put on for Southwest Florida as a unit. All right, people from Estero, Fort Myers, hell, North Fort Myers. They almost said Boca Raton. I didn't mean to say Boca Raton. I meant to say Punta Gorda. I don't know why I went Boca Raton, but people from all over, have been coming to see, not even just, I'll say coming to see Camelot, coming to see these actors, and just coming to see the company in general. And again, they really do an amazing job. But I hadn't even mentioned the last two people within the starting lineup, right? So the last two people in the starting lineup, right? Let me stop saying starting lineup, just in the lineup in general, right? There was Ethan Zepf. Now, he played Mordred in this play, and he was also a critical character as well. And then there is Mr. Aiden Thayer, right? Now, I'll say this, guys. Aiden, he, amongst all of these different actors, in which, y'all, the accolades is great. The accolades and accomplishments on these these actors is absolutely crazy. But Aiden is like 13 years old. He's 13 years old, and listen, he was for sure holding his own against all these different actors. Let me tell you, let me give y'all a little bit of information, right? So I know, off rip, Kevin, from what I recall, reading information within his bio, he's performed in so many different shows. It's absolutely crazy. He's performed in shows overseas. I think he may have won an award or two as well. I know Olivia at this particular moment, pause, I won't say at this particular moment, I'll say sometime after Camelot ended, she ended up getting a role for a famous play that was going on up on Broadway, in which that's another thing I want to stress to y'all as well, my people of Southwest Florida. I guess this, pay attention to the theater businesses overall in general, because they're really providing us with a lot of gems, but especially Gulfshore Playhouse. Pay attention, y'all. Stay tuned, stay tapped in and stay locked into them, because y'all, I don't know if y'all know this, but I'm trying to think of a good way to put it. Gulfshore, essentially, for the whole process when it comes to getting the actors and all that, they fly all the way up to Broadway. They fly up to New York. All right, they end up hosting auditions. They bring back an excellent good set of actors to come back and of course be in the play. And then of course, let's just say this, right? I'm finding, I guess I'm not finding that the accurate words to describe it. They're essentially, Gulfshore Playhouse is bringing Broadway to Southwest Florida. That's what they're doing, all right? And that's the amazing thing. That's what necessarily I couldn't wrap my head around, is that damn near every single one of these actors that I just talked about, they all ended up they're all from New York. they're all either from New York, or they performed on Broadway. Yo, these are some really big time players. All right, and so again, I'm gonna leave their social media pages down in the description below, just so that y'all can follow them. Again, y'all can keep up with them, y'all can see what they got going on. But I'll also give y'all a little bit of information as far as more specifically, I guess, beyond the lineup. But I'll give y'all a little bit of information as far as what went down in the play, because listen, the play went on for, I want to say 2 hours. It's 2 hours and 30 minutes or something like that. It went on for a good bit, but from the time that you stepped in the theater to the time that everybody was walking out, you were entertained all the way throughout. And again, going back to Aiden Thayer, he's only 13 years old. He's a native from Naples. And so y'all, you definitely got to give major props to him, because he put on. He was doing his thing. He was wilding out on stage, man. Absolutely killed it. Like every single one of these ladies and gentlemen. I don't even as far as I guess I'm trying to recall certain moments. I guess there's some small stuff. There's a lot of small stuff that I ended up noting. one for King Arthur, right? Jeffrey, he did an amazing job, and me and also a couple of like my colleagues, when we were talking about the play, like we essentially like the consensus was for how King Arthur was portrayed, right? For how King Arthur was portrayed, it felt like Jeffrey was the perfect guy for that, because it felt like even though Jeffrey was portraying King Arthur, it sort of kind of felt like Jeffrey, like on stage or off stage, that's like that particular character was who Jeffrey was, and essentially again, King Arthur, I guess if I had to summarize, you know, everything that I saw within the play, it's one of those things where he's a very he's a reasonable king. I guess I'm trying to figure out what's the right words for it. Of course, we're familiar throughout history. There's tyrants, right? And there's also reasonable kings, noble kings, stuff of that sort. And I guess the dilemma, like, it is tricky, because like for the quote unquote tyrant kings, their dilemma is that, of course, they got the aggression, they got the control down pat, but as far as the being reasonable, knowing when to utilize that aggression, that control, and all that, like, there's a time for it, but they don't necessarily know the I guess the noble, respectable, I guess that sort of touch that sort of kind of needed in order to be king. That's what sort of kind of missed. Now, King Arthur, he wasn't that type of king. It was more so, from what I can recall, he was a very, again, noble king, nice king, tried to be cool, tried to be polite, tried to keep the peace. But he ended up, is one of those things where he just came across, like so many different tough situations between, you know, Guenevere, Lancelot, that whole affair, and listen, with the way how Olivia and Daniel, the way how they performed it, bro, I'm not gonna hold you, they sold the absolute hell out of that. They sold the absolute hell out of that, man. This is, like, I'll say this. These ladies and gentlemen, I know I'm going on for a little bit of time. They are, like, were so good. Like, I'll say this. You couldn't help but get emotionally invested into the play, right? There were times where, what's it called? Because, again, King Arthur, he's not a bad guy. You know, really, noble king. Nice, cool, polite. And then not only that, he also really he was really vibing and wanted to help out Lancelot as well. And he had essentially a vision to really, I guess this, how should I say? I guess he tried to, in a sense, bring order to the world, and he had a vision for it, right? And of course, you know, and Lancelot was going to help in doing that. But of course, again, Guenevere, Lancelot had the affair, and I'm gonna say this: the acting was amazing. I was like, I was sitting in the crowd. I was like, yo, Guenevere, how the hell could you betray my dog like that, man? It's like, come on, you can't, no, you really did King Arthur like that. And then there was a damn, I don't even want to mess around and spoil it, but it's been around for so long though. There was a point in time where, like, I think it, that, I guess that's another reason or another aspect as well, is because even for, like, the stuff that I could recall, I think it's one of those things where, like, Gulfshore, like, their directors, their I guess the people that sort of kind of, like, they threw their own spin on certain stuff. So what it is that you see with the Gulfshore Playhouse, and their interpretation of the play, of course, you may get something totally different, you know, at another theater. But and then not only that, you definitely got to give some props to the Revelers as well, because they held it down. They were doing their thing as well. I know there was a certain point where Guenevere was getting all the Revelers riled up to kill Lancelot, because initially Guenevere wasn't really rocking with Lancelot. You know, up until Lancelot really did a lot. He really did a lot. He really, I guess, I guess looking at the whole situation from a different aspect, bro. You know, Lancelot had to be on a whole nother level because Guenevere was not rocking with him whatsoever. Lancelot withstood every single attempt, throwing this particular Reveler, this particular person. He beat everybody up. Lancelot beat everybody up, which is crazy. He beat everybody up, and then not only that, when he accidentally in Gulfshore Playhouse's interpretation of the play, he accidentally ended up stabbing one of the revelers, almost killing him, but he ended up bringing them back to life. That was another thing. I'll tell y'all a little bit. I don't want to go too far into the story because I don't necessarily know Gulfshore Playhouse's plans with the play, and I don't know if that'll cause a conflict or in any way. I just wanted to let y'all know again that Gulfshore Playhouse, right? One, all my people in Southwest Florida, pay attention to the theater-related organizations because they, overall as a unit, regardless of which one you want to look at, they're all putting on some amazing productions. All right, that's point number one. Point number two, if I could direct you to anyone specifically, I'm going to direct you to Naples, more specifically Gulfshore Playhouse, because again, I know for certain, they pull their act, the talent. A lot of it ends up coming from Broadway. So when you're driving to Naples to come and see, a lot of times you may be under the assumption that there's gonna be a lot of local talent from Southwest Florida. There's gonna be some, but you're gonna get that same, the production's gonna be it's going to be very, very comparable to that of what you would see on Broadway. So definitely, that's another thing as well. Gulfshore Playhouse is too legit to quit. And even more legit to quit than that, these actors are the truth. Again, big shout outs to Jeff. Big shout outs to Olivia. Big shout outs to Daniel. Big shout outs to Kevin. Big shout outs to Christiana. Big shout outs to Ty-Gabriel. Big shout outs to Ethan. Big shout outs to Griffin. And big shout outs to Aiden as well. I know I just went down the entire list. Yeah, there's again so much more that I could talk about. I guess this is the last bit of information just before I wrap up the video. I'll go back to the injury part. I don't want to disclose too much, just because the injury didn't happen to me. I don't necessarily know if people are going to be entirely too, I guess cool about me even talking too much about it. I don't necessarily know where, but I'll give y'all a little bit of information, right? So essentially, again, one of the actors ended up getting injured, and this, I guess this was the crazy part as well. They ended up getting injured, and thank God the injury was not, I guess it wasn't too major. Of course, the actor for their safety, for their health, it was important that they sat out for about a week or so. I don't necessarily know how much time, but they sat out for a little bit. And then of course Griffin stepped up. Griffin came through. He filled the role, and he did amazing. He did amazing for certain. And then I'll say. Wow, okay, I'm all over the place, y'all. I also, as I was talking about that story, I also ended up recalling that in the midst of Camelot playing, there was another major event that the company ended up having, and it was their gala, alright? And of course, they raised a whole lot of money, but with the gala, there was, of course, there's a production that went into the gala, and one of the things that I wanted to make note of was that, as every single one of these actors came through, they did their thing day in, day out, night in, night out, and just putting on for the city of Naples, putting on for Southwest Florida. More specifically, I would definitely love to give, a shout outs to, I guess, more shout outs to Kevin as well as to Ethan Zeff, because both of those actors, on top of them doing their thing in Camelot, they also doubled back and did a little bit of double duty and also performed in the gala too. And again, they killed. I guess it's not a surprise, but they just, in the same way and fashion that they did amazing in Camelot, they also did amazing in the gala as well. And the gala was a very special event. Everybody came up dressed up. Everybody, it was just overall, it was an absolute movie. It was an absolute movie, just like this show was an absolute movie. So, but y'all, I'm gonna cut the video. All right, I might have to tell y'all some more details about this in a separate video, because I noted down some information, but it's just so much more that I could talk about. There's just so much more that I could talk about. But please, y'all, I'm going to leave down the information as far as who played what in their IG handles. Follow their page. Follow their page. I cannot stress that enough. Follow their page. These guys and these gals, they really are the truth. All right, every single last one of them. All right. The only person who I don't think I have an IG handle for is Aiden Thayer, and which, by the way, y'all, he's 13. So you know, is reasonable enough. But what I will say though, again, for all my people in Southwest Florida, yo, he's from Naples. I'm gonna repeat that one more time. He's from here, so you are at some point in time going to see him come up, and you're gonna see him, you know, putting on more performances, you know. So definitely just be on the lookout for that. And it's crazy to see how good he was in this show, and I can only imagine how great he's going to be coming up. But overall, again, that's all that I have for this particular go around. I do thank y'all so much for your time. I thank y'all for listening to me, because I know I be all over the place at times. I be losing my word, losing my train of thoughts. You know, I'm all over the place. But nonetheless, again, y'all make sure that y'all follow these ladies and gentlemen. Y'all make sure that y'all also keep up with the Gulfshore Playhouse. I'm gonna try to leave their information in the description too. But for certain, I appreciate y'all rocking with the news of the people, rocking with the Blue Empire, rocking with the Internal Spear. Y'all make sure that y'all like this thing up. Y'all make sure that y'all share this with any and everybody. Y'all leave y'all comments if y'all happen to have any questions. Oh yeah, also, y'all, by the way, if y'all are also thinking about pricing for especially all of my college students, or just students in general, yo, bring your ID with you. Thank me later. Bring your ID with you. All right. And whether you purchase your ticket online or at the box office, just know that you get a really good discount. You get a really good discount. But anyway, right? Again, I thank y'all so much. Y'all make sure that y'all subscribe to the channel. Y'all follow all my social media pages. But most importantly, make sure that you stay tuned, stay tapped in, and stay locked in, because the juice over here never stops dripping. All right? All right. I'll catch y'all in the next one, man. Peace, be easy, and as always, I'll see y'all. Wow, stay blessed up. That's what I meant to say. No, listen, it's been one of them ones. I thank y'all so much. I'll see y'all in the next one, man. Peace, be easy, and take care.